Eh? Where am I? Huh? What the heck? Alright, seems like there's something happening, so let me change scenes real quick. Why am I not appearing? Hello? Ah, there we go! Sorry about the technical difficulties right at the beginning, but for those who are new here, I'm Nethyr, the X-Final Boss. I'm part of the VTuber Tech Co-op, No Pointer Live, and today we'll be going through a coding postmortem. This might be a little bit different from a usual coding postmortem where, well, this one's going to be a lot more casual and a lot more like just chit-chat. Just a casual feel to this overall. But I wanted to reflect on what I learned so far, because even though I follow tutorials, I feel like I was just going through it step by step and trying to go with the motions of coding said game, like coding Pong or coding Space Invaders in Godot. But for me, I want to fully understand what I was doing. So today we're going to be reviewing the code that we put together. If you followed along, we pretty much had the same code. And if you did follow along, feel free to let me know in the chat on how that went. I hope that having a streamer code with you can encourage you to keep going. Because for me, coding live helps me like really focus in on it, because if I'm alone, it's kind of lonely. So I hope that I encourage people to try out coding for themselves, because this is because coding to me lets me create things that I never thought I could create. And it's very satisfying when you're able to like solve what you're trying to make and going to the next step. So I really wanted to talk about that, but feel free to, this is kind of like in a just chatting realm, so it can go in any direction. So if that's not your thing, it's all right. We're just hanging out. We're learning. And I feel like an important part of learning is reflecting on what you've learned and what can you take away from it for your next project. So we're going to do quite a bit of that. Let me go ahead and change scenes real quick. Alright, so if you've seen me from one of my first videos, well, not one of my first, but one of my first Nethyr Learns Godot video. The first one was Pong, as you can see. And with this one, this involves a game AI that is controlling it and I'm playing against it. So as an example, I'm just going to show it real quick. Alright, cool. And it has a okay. It has this. And the AI is moving by itself, just reacting to like the ball and going from there. When I started playing against the AI, I noticed how difficult it is to beat said AI. And oh my goodness, okay. Like it has to make me concentrate a little bit. So this taught me that adding difficulty is quite a challenging endeavor, because you have to balance a lot of elements that you may not expect, like the speed and accuracy of the AI. That's something you have to balance if you want like an easier time, or if you want to make it gradual for the difficulty. So that will take a lot of adjustment, since right now the AI is very much like, oh, we're just going to stick with this singular difficulty. So that's something that I learned a lot when making this one. Yeah, so you can see it keeps going on forever. There's no quit state. So let's see here. But yeah, I think I could just vibe here, right? No? Yeah, and okay. Okay, the next time I lose, oh, interesting. Oh, there we go. Oh, I finally got it! Okay. It takes a little bit. Okay. I want to get another point in. Totally not because I'm a little competitive, but it's just because. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, and it got me. Okay, we're gonna quit this. So we're gonna be exploring what we've done. Likeable, don't eat all my clothes. Jeez Louise, no, that's rude. That is so rude. Also, like, my other monitor is so distracting because, like, I see 3 versions of me here, and I'm like, that's a little awkward. So, we're gonna go through the code, the build itself. So, this is the main scene, this is the player, and within the player, I need to make sure that there is a texture that the player sees, and the texture has to have a collision around it so that it can interact with another object. So that's like those are a few of the things I learned from Pong, along with making a CPU. This one is within the script itself. So if I look here specifically for CPU, we can see a lot more of what's happening. One of the things I learned is delta, and I remember Duck mentioning like more details about delta, but for me personally, I still don't fully understand delta, but I kind of see delta as a constant that the code can refer to in order to predict the next frame. That's sort of how I see it right now. I don't know if it's the most accurate, but it's something. It's something. So I actually have a little journal in front of me for just writing down what I learned. So I put Pong subtitle. I learned about nodes and scenes, which is the basics. I learned about textures and collisions, and why they're important for interacting in the game. Oh, delta is the difference in time between... Oh, it's a time... Okay. Delta is the difference in time between the current frame and the previous one. It helps to normalize things regardless of frame rate. Ah, okay. Okay, that kind of makes me think of like frame by frame animation. So there is like frame 1 and then frame 2, but then being able to go from frame 1 to frame 2, that's kind of like delta to normalize like that individual frame rate over time. Okay, I'm gonna write that down, and I'm gonna practice as much as I can to understand that, because I feel like the more that I make games, the more I'm like, okay, I need to know delta. Let's see. So delta is the difference in time. Also, Praxis, welcome on in. Hope you've been doing well. Time between... Also, like, these coding post-mortem, this is like the perfect time to backseat for coding, because I want to make sure I'm learning correctly. And I feel like learning best happens when it's like within a context of discussion rather than, oh, this is the right way to do things. Because, well, it's kind of like just a one way, and you want more interaction to like really hone in on that knowledge. In time between the current frame. So definitely let me know if I'm misunderstanding something, because I appreciate that a lot. Current frame and the previous one. So it's specifically time, and then it normalizes. Yes, I'm taking notes based on what chat is telling me. And Nethyr, glad to be here. Hope you had a lovely week. Oh, my week? It was stressful. A lot of things have been happening this week. Work was really busy for me, but I got through work. I was able to complete the things I needed to do. Very fortunate for that. And this weekend, the beta of the game that I'm working on, well, actually it's already out, the beta. So if you've heard the news about COD Black Ops 6, the beta is currently ongoing, and I could technically play it, but I'm refraining from doing so because I want to really hone in on my knowledge on what I've coded so far. Because I want to be able to like make things on my own without the training wheels that are called tutorials. So that's why I'm like, okay, I need to really realize what I learned and be able to put it to practice. So delta normalizes regardless of frame rate. And that's really important because a game depends a lot on frame rate. You need a lot of movement to interact with the game. Even with like a visual novel, like transitioning from the next scene from the next scene to the next, you need some good frame rate there. Otherwise, it's hard to read everything. And I hope your week has been good too, Praxis. Okay. So, called every frame, delta is the elapsed time since the previous frame. Okay, function ready is called when the node enters a scene tree for the first time. Okay, so this details the type of object I am making. That's how I see it. I like to think I'm pretty good at the coding side of things, so I'll be glad to help when I can. Thank you! Thank you. Okay, so what is extend? I see this part. Oh, I need my visual novel to run at 240 FPS, or it is literally unplayable. Oh! It do be like that? Also, Rogran, hello, welcome! And then after I established the extend of like what type of object, or is it node? Yeah, what type of node it is, I can establish variables within the node. So, and I make these myself. So it's like making the puzzle pieces myself and connecting the puzzle pieces to work together. So variable ball POS, it does not mean ball piece of shit. It's a ball position, and then this one identifies what kind of variable it is, and this is a vector2 variable, similar to int. Yeah, and then this is distance. Move by, I need to better understand that one. This is the window height. This is... I don't know what the P height is. I don't know. Yeah, this is why I need to review my code so I know what I'm doing here. Okay, so once I establish the variables, I can further define the variables here. So what exactly is win height? It's when you get the viewport rectangle, the size of it, and specifically the height of it. Okay. And then P height is... Oh, so this is the player height. The height of the player. So this is getting the color rectangle here. Yeah. And you get the size of it. And the size of it is based off the Y. Yeah. So if I visualize it... Dun dun dun. Okay, so this part is window height. This is player height. And such. And yes, I will play a little bit. Wah. I might have to vanish for a minute. PC updates are installing and kernel stuff. Oh, and I'll need to reboot after that. Technically, I could wait, but I'll forget. Go ahead and do that. Yeah. It's all good. It's all good with me when people need to leave and such. I'm just chilling here and like really working on this. This is kind of like another co-working type of stream, but I wanted more of a chill, like hangout, get to know each other more. I feel like that's a lot of fun too. Okay. Okay. So I understand that, but I need to understand this variable. Oh, if I highlight over it, I can see where it is. Okay. That does clear it up. Oh yeah, this is specifically of the CPU, so specifically this color rectangle. Okay. To be honest, like, this code is surprisingly simple for making a game AI, and I'm like, huh. Okay, it's not too bad at this time. For something way more complicated, like a AAA title, something else. Or my updater can keep saying updating none for system installation over and over. That sounds a little annoying, bud. You might not want that. You know, just in case, I don't think you should have a reminder that goes over and over and over again. Also, I want to check in on like how your guys' week are, so feel free to like share the best thing that happened to you this week. For me, it's knowing. Oh yeah, I ordered a plushie, and this is specifically Mr. Peaks from Call of Duty Zombies. I really wanted that one because I like creepy, cute stuff, and it was really creepy and cute. I really liked it, and I got it. And touching that plush was the softest thing I ever got. Oh, it's not a reminder. The update I have has a little text output of what it's doing while it's installing. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. Okay, so move by. I believe this is the independent. Okay, okay. So if the absolute distance is greater than the get parent. Huh, okay. So delta. I'm assuming the delta here is predicting. Yeah, my brain is like trying its best to put this in layman's terms. Okay, so if it's the process is like delta, so this is happening over time. So I'm trying to determine what is the CPU trying to do over time. And what it's doing over time is based on the ball position, the ball, hence dot position, and the distance of the paddle, of the CPU paddle on this side, subtracted by ball underscore position y. So it's predicting that the distance it needs to move towards is based on this calculation here. So when the ball is, because I remember like with subtract, that means things go up, right? Like it goes up. So, oh wait, I already read that. So if it goes up, if it's negative, it goes up. So the more up it is, the more this position will go up so that it can meet the ball where it goes. Oh, I didn't need to reboot. Yay. Yo, yay. Nice. Okay. And then if the position... oh man, my brain is like wrapping my head. It's just wrapping around like this. And honestly, I've been through a lot of like thinking lately. So if it really looks like I'm having trouble, I'm generally having trouble. Yeah, the y-axis is negative in the up direction. Okay. It's kind of weird. Yeah, it's really weird. I'm like, why does it do that? Okay, so I'm definitely going to take note of that negative equals up. And I'm like, why though? Who made this? Who decided that? Like, why? And honestly, I do wonder, does this little negative equals up thing exist in other things? Like in other engines? Is this in GDScript or another language using binding? This is specifically GDScript. I went with this one because I wanted to learn to code something that I personally am very passionate about so that I at least can master one language. And I wanted to learn GDScript in particular because GDScript and Python are relatively similar. And because they're similar, it will be easy for me to jump from GDScript to Python. I think it's useful for calculating sprite facing, because if they're facing towards the camera, the Y would be positive. Okay. My brain is just trying to put parts together. Godot has bindings to use other languages like Rust. I have no knowledge of Rust. I am literally a baby programmer. I cannot jumble too many coding languages at once. Like, I was initially learning D, but I learned that D wasn't the most functional if I wanted to learn other things like Godot. So I was like, okay, I think I need to go with a more commonly used language. So I went with GDScript and Python. I don't either, other than knowing that it exists. Okay, yeah, I just know Rust exists. I see my fellow like group mates talk about, my friends, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. Sigma as the says 2. You're not that old. You're not that old. Why you say it like that? If you consider yourself old, what does that make me? How dare you? Oh my gosh. I don't even know what Sigma means. What does that mean? to be honest, no, I don't think I really care for Sigma that much. It's kind of eh. I mean, to be honest though, I'd rather learn about I'm not old, just out of the loop. Okay. Okay. But the way you phrase it made it sound like you think of yourself as old. So be careful. Be careful. Alright, so trying to understand this. The distance. This negative up thing is gonna mess with me so many times. Like, the amount of technical skill and knowledge Lena and Cyan have together is yeah, like those two, they're a powerhouse. I'm just like, whenever I'm just like chatting with them, I'm like, I feel like a simpleton. I feel like, oh my goodness, how can I catch up with them and all that? But honestly, like, I just started. I need to give myself like a breather that, hey, at least I'm trying my best to learn it, you know? And for me, even though that they're powerhouses in technical know-how, I feel like I have my own strengths too. And I need to keep that in mind as I'm friends with them. So we actually plan to be gaming tomorrow offline, so I'm pretty excited. Yo, you talked to Lena? That's so cool. My brain can't follow Lena with code. Yeah, Lena's so freaking cool. Sometimes I just don't know what she's coding, but I'm just like happy that she's happy. That's like me. It's like I just sit there, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Lane, hi! Welcome on in! Hello! I am analyzing my code after I followed a couple tutorials because I want to be able to like take what I learned and be able to put it into other things. So right now we're analyzing my code for like making Pong. This is the game. I at least know the visual parts very well because because in game jams I would be providing the art textures. Like I did a lot of art related stuff. I did writing, I did some production. And I was like, okay, I'm familiar with these, but behind the scenes, I'm not familiar with this. And this is what I wrote based on the tutorial. And I'm like, okay, now that we've written this, let's try to understand what exactly I wrote. Because when you look at the videos on YouTube, I went through these tutorials quite quickly. Because I wanted to be able to be like, okay, I just want to get this done. Just like really go step by step. But now that I can like take a breather, I can just be like, okay, how did I make the CPU? And how did I have the CPU predict my own movement? Pong is a good thing to practice, yeah. To practice with. Yeah. This is the first one that I chose. And then I let chat choose multiple options for the next one. And what won for my second one was Space Invaders. And that one is much more difficult compared to Pong. So that one was a very steep hill to go at. Also, Lane, I hope you've been doing well. And Rogren says, Lena is like, oh, let me just casually write a GPU from scratch with no documentation on an OS the hardware wasn't meant for. Yeah, Lena's just really cool. I respect her a lot. Although I do agree with y'all. Like, it can be kind of intimidating to like approach Lena, but she's such a sweetheart. She's so sweet. It's just, yeah, you get intimidated by that power level. But you kind of get used to it, and you're just like, oh, okay. We have our strengths and weaknesses. That's what I try to keep in mind, for the most part. And I just want to do my best to be good friends. And I feel like Lena and Cyan have been treating me pretty well so far, so I'm pretty happy being their friend. They as in the two. Okay, so this predicts, this predicts how the paddle moves towards the ball. Okay. If ABS distance is greater than the get parent paddle speed times delta, move the position based on delta. Yeah, this one I need to better understand. I don't know what ABS I know what distance is because I established a variable myself. I don't know what ABS is. What's abs? What are abs? What it sounds like is it's ABS is absolute. Yeah. Okay, I guess right. I would love to talk to Lena about coding stuff, but I think I just embarrassed myself with how little I know. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. The best thing about like learning programming and like talking to people who are more knowledgeable is just that sharing that knowledge with each other just makes it so much fun. Don't be afraid. She's really sweet. Trust. She's really sweet. So definitely ask her things. Abia, yeah, okay, so absolute. Okay. I guessed right that abs is absolute. But I need to understand what absolute means in this context. Okay. So something I've noticed when I watch absolute value. Okay. Absolute value. Okay. Absolute if the absolute value of distance is greater than the get parent paddle speed times delta. It means that if it's negative, you make it positive. It's useful when you only care about okay, for magnitude. Ooh. Abs is absolute. Great. Absolute. Yeah, that's me. That is me. I'm just... Even though, like, this format is, like, very non-traditional, I feel like it's more organic for me to learn through, like, funny moments like this, because I'm like, okay, I'm putting word vomit together. So right here, you're checking if the distance is bigger, okay, bigger than the speed of the paddle speed times delta. You're checking if the distance is bigger than the speed, okay, you're moving at, so you don't overshoot. So, okay, so basically, the difficulty of the CPU, this like the speed movement, is kind of based on my own skill level. That's why it feels very even when I play against myself, when I play against the CPU. So, as an example... Because I'm trying to, like, visualize it in my head, like, for speeds and movement. And to be honest, it was kind of funny to learn about these speeds and movement kind of things, because... Oh, fudge. Ah! Okay. The speed of movement is something I did not intend, because I did not plan to make anything action-based, but I think it's still good to know in general. Because, honestly... One little personal goal I have is, like, be able to go into a game jam and, like, make a game that is not just a visual novel. That'd be pretty cool. Because I did participate in a game jam previously, and I was, like, the main coder for making a visual novel and making all the art assets and such. But that's it. So, hi, Griot! Welcome on in! Welcome. I am looking and reading through my Pong code, because I'm baby coder. I'm just learning. Okay. Alright, so I'm observing how the speed of the ball, like, affects the movement of this. Yeah, like, have you noticed that when the ball moves super fast, the paddle of the CPU moves really quickly too. So it's based on, okay, it's very much connected to that single line of code that determines the speed of the paddle, the CPU's paddle. Yeah, because you see that, right? It went a lot faster. Maybe we could do a game jam together sometime. I tried doing a couple, but I suck at coming up with committing to ideas on my own. I remember that the CPU had a limit. Okay, the CPU, I think this is the limit. Because this one is establishing, like, okay, how fast should the paddle go, the CPU paddle? Otherwise, it can just move at the equal to distance. So when the paddle moves really fast, it's just reacting to the fact that my absolute value of the distance of my own paddle is greater than the speed of the CPU's paddle. Am I getting it? I feel the gears turning in my head, somewhat. That it's just predicting, like, okay, how fast should the CPU paddle move? And if it's not moving too fast, then it should be equal to each other. So let's see if we can have it pop up. So if I'm not moving too much, that one doesn't move too much. It's relatively equal. But then, is it predicting based on the ball speed? Yeah, with the ball speed, the CPU becomes a lot faster. Okay. So something that I saw with one friend for a game jam, she actually made a game with chat. Like, all of chat was working on a game together collectively. And I thought that was such a fascinating little experiment. And I want to try doing that when I have a bit more experience under my belt. Let me see the clamp function at the end. Okay, the clamp function? Alright. Okay. Is this it? I think this is it. Unrelated, but I'm finally moving to a phone that was made after 20... What? How old was your phone? Oh my goodness. Okay, so is this the clamp? Yeah. So the clamp function is position.y. So the position of the CPU equals clamp position.y p height over 2 window height minus p height divided by 2. Okay, I kind of want to write that down. Like, what does that look like in, like, math? I will clarify. I'm terrible at math, but I'm trying to be better at it. Samsung Note 9. Did I put a custom ROM on to get newer updates? Ooh, okay. That limits the CPU power so that it can't exit the screen. Yeah, that makes sense because it's based on the calculation of the window height and then the player height. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, limit paddle movement to window. Is this right there? Okay. But yeah, that's the main limit. But I'm referring to like the speed of said paddle. Trying to understand this. I feel like I'm kind of getting it somewhat when reading through it, but it's like my understanding of it feels like 30-35% rather than 100%. Rogue Red, I'm very picky on phones as I refuse to go without SD card and headphone jack. I kind of miss headphone jacks a lot, but at the same time, like, I like understanding current trends, because for me, a lot of, like, what I need to do is based on current knowledge. Like, I can't spend too much time on, like, my personal preferences, if that makes sense. Like, I have to absorb current information and kind of be, like, very current, because of the nature of, like, my life. Although I'm still kind of behind on a few things, but overall I try to pay as much attention as possible to like gaming news, to tech news in general. A lot of things have happened in the gaming sphere of things, so that's lovely and very interesting to catch up on. But okay, I think I kind of get it. Yeah, I think I'm getting it. This is the one that I have the most difficulty with, so I'm gonna put a comment here that take time to understand below most difficulty with this so far. Cause I feel like when you're learning something, you can tend to focus on the things you already understand when you actually need to pay more attention to the things you have difficulty understanding, so that you would genuinely grow in whatever field that you're looking into. In my case, I want to be a better programmer, because I feel like one of the important things about good programming is being able to organize your information in a way, your coding, in a way that is understandable to other programmers. So what I really like about the tutorials that I saw was that they're very much focused on organizing assets and information in said folders. This one, the Pong one, though, doesn't have a lot of that, but the Space Invaders one in particular does. And I really appreciate that tutorial for detailing, like, hey, you should have a folder for scripts. You should have a folder for assets. You should have a folder for scenes. And really separating them so that it's easier to go through. So distance is the distance between the paddle. Okay, I when did we establish distance? The distance is the distance between the paddle and the place where the paddle should be to hit the ball in the middle. Oh, yeah. It's based off this one. The position of what? Yeah, line 18. Yes. Okay, that's a good way to put it in layman's terms. I really appreciate that. So distance is the distance between the paddle and the place where the paddle should be in the middle. So ball position Y. The fact that a computer could like do this shorthanded and then my brain would take like a paragraph to understand is kind of amazing. Coding is just a bunch of acronyms and you just need to take time to learn what each of those acronyms are so that you can connect them and then communicate with the computer and what you want. So right now I feel like I'm basically reading a dictionary. So it's a little bit dry cut. Delta is the time that has passed since the last cycle in the current one. Yep. I'm gonna check out main GD. Okay. I also learned about the nodes and stuff. Yeah, like the signals. The signals, I really like it because like it's just a point and click, and some of them feel like it makes sense, but I definitely think I need to understand this more too. So, how do I say this? Okay. But back to the CPU, because honestly the CPU part was really interesting. Oh, the words and abbreviations are for you. The computer just sees ones and zeros. Oh boy. Yeah, the computer only understands ones and zeros. Yeah, abbreviations, okay. If you multiply paddle... Signals are the coolest thing in Godot, followed by tile maps? What are tile maps? But honestly, yeah, I agree. The signals are really nice because like they go with specific things that are very important in games and are common between games. So it's like, oh, okay, this makes sense. And then they even have it organized by like nodes, by objects, by canvas item. I think I need better understand what canvas item is. Okay, class. Oh, it's a class. Okay, class, canvas item, abstract, base class for everything in 2D space. Why can I not pronounce 2D? So what we established here, this is the class of the CPU. Yeah. And then variables. And then okay, so called when the node enters the scene tree for the first time. Okay, so when it enters the scene, this is the first few things it does, which is to establish the window height and the player height. Because without this information, it cannot go through the process within Delta. That's why you need function ready. So they're like readying up all this information. Oh, it's kind of like cooking. So like when you are planning to cook something, it takes a long time if you haven't like chopped all your ingredients properly, right? So what I'm seeing with function ready, you basically set up all of the ingredients you need to make sure that you can establish what needs to happen with said ingredients. Yes, I'm connecting it to food, even though there's nothing food related here. I just really, really like food, okay? I took cooking classes and I like it a lot. It was very fun. I like to consider myself a little bit of a chef. But yeah. Okay, so setting up the ingredients of the file and then putting those ingredients together here. Okay, and determining how these things should interact with each other. Okay, so these are like the ingredients. This is like doing more things to set ingredients. Yeah, these are just a bunch of ingredients here. And then you set it up here. Okay, mat. Velocity is measured in distance over time. So if you multiply a velocity with a time, you'll get a distance. Oh boy. Oh boy. Tile maps are used to draw maps using a tile set. The coolest thing about it to me is that you can use a scene as a tile. So I made a torch scene and made it a tile so I could easily pop down lighting. That is so useful. Okay, that's something I want to learn next. Cause like that would be so because One of the game genres I've always wanted to make is an it's a RPG Maker-esque game. And RPG Maker-esque games are very much tile-based. So I want to learn tile maps for that. So I'm gonna write it down. So like, want to learn. Tile maps. Tile map would be cool. Oh yeah, you'll definitely need tile maps for that. Yes, exactly. And I'm like, ooh, I would love to learn that. So, so in line 21, it says, if the distance to get to the ball is bigger than the distance you can move this cycle. Okay. So I'm gonna take a sip because, oof, my brain. I'm trying my best to be more hydrated, but it's really hard. Like, the other day, I drank 3 water bottles. That was very difficult for me. I'm usually kind of dry. Even in my humor, it's dry. Even with Pong, I have some difficulty. I mainly focus on this one, though, because, like, the other stuff, this makes sense. Like the rest of it. But understanding the coding part of it, oh baby, that's difficult. Huh. So function, okay, so I set up the variables and constants here. The numbers that I play with. Yeah, this is specifically for the ball. And because it's not affected by like delta, wait. Oh yeah, it is affected by delta. What am I saying? What am I saying? Constant. Okay, so I learned about variable and constant. Sorta. More like I need to understand more about it. Move by. Yeah, move by equals distance. Yeah, my brain is just like, I don't know what I'm looking at. This is what I get for thinking a lot, 40 hours a week, and then I have to think again for my streams. And yet those streams, apparently, are what people like. The formula on line 22 is physics. Oh! Oh, because the time, and then the speed. Okay. Oh, and the velocity, which is distance over the absolute distance. That establishes whether or not it's a negative one or a plus one, right? Oh, the distance, absolute distance is just just direction? So direction of whether or not it goes up or down, right? Because because it's a plus or minus 1. Okay, so I did understand it as a plus or minus 1. If it's a minus 1, it goes up. If it's a plus 1, it goes down. Because it's Godot. That's how I'm seeing it. And then if you multiply it by delta, so like how it moves to the next frame, and then multiply it by the paddle speed. So like, okay, actually I need to double check. Where does get parent come from? Is get parent, where's this from? What lookup symbol? Yeah, I don't understand what the get parent is. Because it's telling me like, okay, wait. So if I'm at the CPU, right? So I get this information from main? Okay, so if I'm getting information from the parent node, and I'm specifically getting the paddle speed, so I would go to main, and would it say it here? Yeah, it says it here. Okay, so it gets this paddle speed, which is int equals 500, and it puts it here. So the paddle speed would be 500 times delta times the direction of +1 or -1. I think I got a little closer there. Now that I understand where the get parent comes in. But it makes me wonder, does that get parent is 500, the paddle speed, is that like gonna constantly just stay at 500, and it just changes. Yeah, it's just speed times time times direction. Okay, okay. I'm gonna put that in because that helps me a lot. Okay, so this is determining the ball. Wait, no, the paddle movement. Paddle movement equals the speed, the time, and the direction. Okay, I'm learning something. A little bit of something. Okay, I'm not going insane. I'm not. Okay, so the paddle speed. Yeah. And the position, distance. Ooh. This is something I need to like really digest because this is gonna be useful for man, actually I'm not so sure when that would be useful because I'm not planning to make anything action based. I really like turn-based systems because I tend to think very slowly. So it just makes sense for me to make something turn-based with tiles. But this is still very interesting to know as someone that really struggles. Yeah, I try playing more action-based games, but like I prefer a little bit more turn-based so that I can like really think things through. And I like things just slow down for my brain because I'm used to thinking super duper quickly to the point where I don't realize how did I go from point A to point C because I don't understand what point B is. I just literally skip through in my head. It says move the paddle the farthest you can in the direction where the ball is right now at the maximum. Oh, sorry, my brain. I have a little bit of a headache. Oh. Honestly, I hope that those who are watching realize I'm a little dumb and silly, but I'm just trying my best. I hope that you're ready for that kind of energy. Because I noticed on YouTube, for some reason, after I made the Pong video, I grew all of a sudden. And I'm like, huh? I'm almost at 350 people? What is happening? And I'm like, okay, I gotta show real quick on how much knowledge I completely lack, and I'm just trying my best to gain knowledge. It's fine. Thank you. Thank you for validating my empty brainness, because I've always avoided coding because I thought I would be too dumb for it. But literally everyone starts from zero. It's okay if I don't know, because that's the point of learning. Can it be a spell like Fireball for one of your— Oh! You're right, Jim. Oh my god, that's right. Okay. So, really good for Fireball. Okay. That sounds fun. That sounds fun. Ooh. Also, Jim, welcome. I love how simple your name is. Like, when you're in a sea of, like, people online, having, like, a super simple name is kind of, like, very striking. So the fact that you're called Jim on YouTube and like there's no other additional numbers and stuff, I'm like, wow, that's a rarity. What the hell? What's happening? But thank you for adding context that this is good for Fireball. I kind of latched onto that because I do like fire spells and fire related things. I'm not an arsonist, but I do like fire. Fire is very pretty. My brain is slowly like derailing, but I'm also like having a lot of fun. I am on the same position where learning inventory management is such a headache. Oh, I'm so sorry, Jim. Oh, damn. Okay. Learning inventory. I'm just imagining like all the variables you have to understand, and like you have to know all the numbers of it, and then you have to understand when it goes in and out. Oh my gosh. I'm really glad you're having fun. Game dev is so fun. I absolutely love it. Yeah, it's so fun. I like so for my day-to-day job, I always get really like excited to help the people who are like more into the game systems and all that, but I also feel like, damn, they're really cool, but I don't fully understand what they're doing. So one of the main reasons why I'm motivated to learn more is because I want to understand my coworkers more. And I want to be able to be like, hey, here's my knowledge and here's my knowledge of your stuff. I'm gonna make sure that my knowledge and my language matches up to you so that it's easier to communicate between each other. And I feel like when you want to work in the games industry, especially in the AAA space, it's super helpful to be able to learn your coworkers' lingo so that collaboration is a lot more seamless. And when you work with a behemoth, that ability to meet eye to eye to someone that you may not be as familiar with is so valuable. And I want to grow in the field where I can like quickly understand at least the basics. But there's still a lot of things where I'm like, oh my god, that's insanely cool. My brain can't wrap around it, but I will at least admire you for being able to know what your strengths are and being able to really hone in on that and really grow from there, because that's impressive. Also, why did I turn Southern all of a second? It kind of sounds Southern in my head, at least. Okay, so really good for Fireball. Okay, I'm gonna go, let's see. So main, I've noticed like this one, I was surprised at how simple. Well, Pong is simple, but like it's under 20 lines of code. When I did coding classes in college, in AI college, I remember dealing with 100 lines of code, but not really understanding what's happening. And yet, this Godot feels so simple. Like, my brain could actually wrap my head around it. Like, the HUD, the CPU score are things that I've already established. Yeah, Godot simplifies things a lot. Yeah, and I really admire it for that. It makes game dev so much accessible than before, and I really appreciate that, because I remember when I was younger, I thought I could have never been a game developer in my entire life because I honestly thought that I was stupid back then. But really, I just wasn't in an environment where I could properly learn all of this. And I wasn't in a place where there were tools for me to figure it out. Like, I did not have the inherent talent to like figure out all of this on my own. I have to rely on other people to help me figure out coding. And that's why it's like, it's really nice to see that people are coming by to help me. And I really appreciate that. It means a lot. And I hope that being able to share knowledge like this encourages everyone here to like continue on their journey too. And plus, it's just really fun that we can all do this together. But I do know that this is basically calling on to the things that I made. So this ball one is calling the ball. And on ball, timer, timeout. So by calling on to this ball, I'm going to get a new ball. When I was in college, I made a small tank game that took me like oh gosh, 1,000 lines. Oh boy. That's why I'm like, I really appreciate how Godot kind of like, hey, you can have multiple scripts and then you can reference each of the scripts so that it's kind of like isolated and it's easier to digest, because I would cry if there was like a single project, 1,000 lines of code. I would just cry at that point. So establish the function. But the engine was really rudimentary, and it was written in raw C. Oh god. Praxis. It makes them feel smaller, even though you can easily end up making it way bigger and yeah. Yeah, oh my goodness. Well, yeah, whenever I go to like someone's coding stream, I honestly just lurk because I don't have enough knowledge to like contribute. I'm just gonna admire from afar, probably be quiet, and like, I like seeing other people work on their things, because then I could just like work on my things in like my area, and I'm like, okay, we're buddying up and we're working on things together and getting things done, and that's fun. It makes me feel productive. Excuse me. I keep burping whenever I drink water too fast. I need to be careful about that. Okay, so the on-ball timer timeout. Okay. Oh, and this one also has a signal. Let me look at the signal. So the ball timer timeout. So what I'm hearing is that when this occurs, when the ball timer is timed out, you need to summon a new ball. That's what was happening when the ball goes out of bounds and scores a point. So when that ball is out, it would establish another ball. And another one. And then it would just continue from there. The fact that knowing the shorthand and then the computer does what it does, like, it's really cool that the computer just knows really quickly. And also, I have fun with these little mini games. Woo! I did it! I did it! Okay. I could technically, like, add the quit and then the score. Oh, I could do the score one! Okay, that would be interesting to bring in. But do I want to do that right now? No. No, I'm kind of afraid to, like, code it by myself. I really need to stick to my training wheels, otherwise, like, yeah. Because one thing I'm trying to do with the tutorials is that, oh, I can guess what the next step is based on my knowledge and as I grow. So that's what I'm trying to do, rather than be completely off my training wheels. At least learning to predict, like, okay, what would be the most logical step here when coding? And then the tutorial can help verify for me if I did correct. Oh, but I moved like that. Okay. Okay. Talking and playing a game at the same time is very much a honed-in skill set. Not everyone has that. I do not have that. Okay, so this one just makes a new ball every time the ball goes out of bounds. Cool. Function: on score left body shape entered. Body rid, body shape index, local shape index. Interesting. I don't know what that means, just right off the bat, but I'm assuming it's related to body. I just need a word body and that's it. And it's now bodying my head, trying to figure out, like, what is all this? Like, come on. Oh, my goodness. I'm just thinking in my head. Okay. Oh, it's the out of bounds on the left. Oh! Okay, so... okay. So establishing... Oh, that makes sense then, because the body entered, that's referring to the collision body, right? Yeah, it's referring to score left. So this is the body, right? That it's referring to. So if it goes to the left, which is my side, so let me put that. Player's side. And then this one is the CPU's side. One thing that I think helps is to assign things that may not be super obvious what they are to a variable and give it a name that makes more sense. Yeah, like establishing the variable. Yeah, that makes sense. Because, like, seeing this function, I'm like, huh? But when I think about it, it makes sense. Because when the score left, so on the left side, and the body shape entered. So, I'm assuming when the ball enters the score left, which involves these, this is what needs to happen, which is the score 1, which is my score, needs to be added to 1. Add 1 to this. And then the HUD CPU score, which is this one, equals the string score 1. I remember, like, int and string and stuff like that, but for me, I know what they are. Like, int is integers. A string is like a longer set of numbers. But I don't know when it's best to use what versus what. Like, when is it best to use an integer versus a string? That one I need to practice more on. So let me write it down. When to use this integer versus string, etc. Because that one, I feel like if I master that more, it would make more sense. Oh, int equals whole numbers, string equals text. Okay. So if it's only for whole numbers, then what are for decimals then? Integers are for things you want to count. Okay. It's EP. Integers are for things you want to count. Okay. For string is text. Float. Oh, okay. Okay, that's the one I was missing. Float. Float. That's for decimals. Comes up with these times. Sure. Okay, so it's referring to like the specific ones. Then the string score. Oh, so this is okay. Float is for things like positions in the space, speed, and physics. Oh, so like very minute stuff. Okay. Let me write that down. Positions in space, speed, and physics variable. Okay. My brain is in high power! Rah! My goodness. Also, I think for this particular topic, it's probably best if I change the category for this one for Twitch. Yeah, I'm gonna change the Twitch category real quick. Because just this is very technical. I don't feel like it's just for chatting. So let's see, game dev. Yeah, let's change the category for this. Because I want people to find me. Heck yeah. There we go. There we go. My brain is in recovery mode from taking in all these high-level important ideas. Forgive me for the meme. I've never heard of that meme, actually. Could you elaborate further on that meme? Also, that little emote's really cute. Very silly. Okay, I'm gonna take a little sippy break. Good, you're lucky. What do you mean I'm lucky? Huh? Okay, yes. Jeez. My brain is kind of fried right now, so I'm just gonna vibe a little bit and just stare at this. So the main game scene is establishing like when to bring in a new ball to the scene, and then how does it calculate the score. That's what I'm seeing here. Hide score. This one's also the score. This one's for making a new ball. Making a new ball for the round. Nethy EP. Very EP. Looks like score is stored in a 2-element array. Yeah, so the score 1 is huh? You set it up on line on line 3. Oh yeah. Okay, that's why it's the 0 is the player, then the 1, which is this one, CPU. I had a hard time with arrays So I really like honed in on what are arrays. So it's basically a list of number, a list of stuff. Yeah, you even have nice comments for it. Yeah. Yes, I do. It helps me remember because I'm a forgetful person. So I need to have comments and just like identify like, hey, what the heck did I write here? And when I'm looking at the array, I remember that when writing arrays, you could actually like add strings to them, right? From what I remember, and then you kind of list stuff from there. I'm trying to remember in my head how do you do that, but I realized that hey, that's in JavaScript, so it's not as relevant here. And JavaScript was kind of the main reason why I was like, you know, maybe I'm not suited for coding, but I want to try it again and see how I go from there. So this one, yeah, I know what you establish an integer speed of 500, and it's a constant speed, pedal speed. So that makes sense. Okay, and then what about the player? Player is very simple. So we establish what the class is, and then we set up the variables, which is the window height and the player height. I'm just trying to see though. So the window height is based on the whole screen of the game. And it's based on, and we are specifically getting the size Y, which is, size Y should be this one, yeah. Because X is always like this, and then Y is this. Y is always vertical. X is always horizontal. And we're mainly focused on the vertical, yeah. And then the player height, it's based on this colored rectangle representing the player. We get the size of this, and we specifically get the size of the Y, so the vertical part of it. IIRC. Godot's arrays are loosely typed, so you can add elements of any type to the... Oh, I see. Okay. That's cool to know. Pretty cool. Okay. And now that we've established this for the player, this is what happens to the player. So the function process delta. Oh yeah, I remember seeing that. So underscore process. Okay. Oh, it's the same thing. Okay. If the input is the action pressed up, which is represented by the project settings, because in here you can map the input. Yes, and this is what it's referencing. So when the player inputs the set action for up, which is the up arrow key, the position goes up. And this specifically goes up when it's a negative. That's why I would set it up with a negative. And then otherwise, if it's the UI down, which is the arrow down key, the position of the paddle, it goes down when it's positive. And it based off that with the paddle speed, which is on main, times delta. So this is establishing like, okay, how does this paddle move? Like, does it move super quick or super fast? No, it's based off the delta, so it's kind of like the standard, I guess. Although it makes me wonder, can you change the speed, slow down the time for delta? Or increase the delta? I kind of wonder about that, because like, right now I'm hearing that delta is a constant. Oh, it always goes at max. Okay, so delta is always max speed. Gotcha. Okay. And are there ways to slow down delta? Delta is a time of the cycle. Okay. Because like, how I'm seeing delta right now is kind of like music. So in music, you have 4/4 count. So how do you go from one note to the other? So does delta have something similar to that? Where it could be like 16/16 or something versus 4/4 count? 4/4? I'm just thinking out loud now. You can adjust the engine times. Oh, okay, okay. Make speed. Okay, max speed. Max speed. And this can be adjusted in engine timescale. Okay. Adjusted in engine timescale. Been a while since I did that. I'll look at the exact function for it. Okay, sounds good. Cause like, it makes me wonder in my head, like, what would you do if you wanted to change delta? And then, other than that, it's like, when would you apply that change? That makes sense. Right now, I kind of want to eat, like, cake or something. Sweet sounds really good. Okay, yeah, but that changes the speed of the whole game. Okay, so that's the constant. So you don't necessarily want to change delta. What you really want to change is like be able to use delta and then make a equation involving delta for specific variables or specific scripts to like affect the yeah, and that's what occurs actually in Space Invaders now that I think about it, because I was able to edit the speed of said enemies. Like I slowed them down or I increased it, but that's because I did not edit delta. I edited the enemy speed. Okay, I'm able to apply some knowledge. Let's go. Let's go. You would want to change the paddle speed if you want to make the paddle. Exactly, yeah. Yeah. You don't want to change delta. You change the paddle speed. Otherwise, if you change the delta, it affects the whole game and then you have to rebalance everything. So, makes sense. Makes sense. My brain. It's a little empty. The thing is that your speed is just max. Because you are just pressing a button. If you had an analog stick, you could get that value to make the paddle speed. Oh, you're right. Oh gosh, because like when you use the control stick, you can make it lean a little bit more forward, but not too forward to just like go on a walk. Versus moving the stick all the way up makes it go faster. And that calculation is probably like similar to CPU here, I think. Yeah. So applying something like this to like the stick, the analog stick, can help determine like, okay, am I in a walking state or am I in a running state? Okay, so that can help determine it. I'm just like referencing the code I have here and trying to see like, okay, can I apply this type of code to something else? Does it make sense? I hope so. I freaking hope so. Also, like, since I've been working quite a bit, I might need to turn in early because I'm a little on the EB side. It do be like that, though. Actually, in this case, nothing is being done to get the strength of the button press. So max speed is the only... Yeah, at least in the context of Pong. But if you have a analog stick for, like, a separate game, it definitely needs to tell the difference between a walking state versus a sprint state. And that's why certain games, from what I've seen, prefer to just add another, like, hotkey to say, hey, this signals that you're sprinting now. Just to, like, separate it. All the preferences. Ooh, there's just so many things. Wait, so many ways to do something. Even for, like, a simple walk and sprint. Like, there's a lot that goes into that when I think about it. Okay. Alright, I think I got a good set of stuff from Pong specifically. Is there anything else I should go over before we move to Space Invaders? Let's see, got the parent. Just to move by. You got the player. We got the ball we did not get. The ball surprisingly has the most code. That one I did not expect, like. Okay, the ball is ballin' here. It's actually the most complicated. Because you have the function ready, you have the new ball, like, what happens with the new ball? So for the new ball, this determines, like, okay, what direction is the ball going? Hence the different directions when you do play the game. The physics process is like the physics of said ball, and how that works. The random direction and new direction. My brain is fried. Oh, goodness. I'm so glad that I'm on vacation. Like, I'm getting a whole week off. Just because, like, I'm just tired. I just don't want to think for quite a bit. I'm still thinking, though, because clearly coding requires a ton of thinking, so it just be like that. But this is also fun for me, so can't help it. Can't help it. Okay. I'm gonna do a little stretch, actually. Stretch, because, like, recently I learned a new stretch that helps with, like, my back. And it's kind of like an RDL, like a deadlift. But instead of having a weight, I just have my hands at the back of my head, and then I just do the motion. That way I can put pressure on my lower back. It's pretty nice so far. I think. I hope. So I'm just doing it right now. I'm standing. And then just... Oh, okay, yeah. When I do it like this, I definitely feel out the back, so I have to be careful. You don't want to put too much pressure on your lower back, otherwise it's not good for you. Oh, but I'm stretching a little bit. It's really important to stretch, y'all, especially if you've been sitting for way too long. Like, you gotta take care of your bodies. Otherwise you can't really do much, besides think. Oh boy. Oh. EP type. Okay, I think this is pretty decent for Pong. Yeah, this is decent for Pong. Let's see what else we can learn. Save and quit. I wanted to save it because it has the comments. Oh, I quit Godot completely. Uh-oh. Let me BRB real quick. I did a silly, I completely closed out of Godot without meaning to, so we're gonna adjust that real quick and then open the Space Shooters file and go from there. And then we're getting back. And then clearly it is not what we were looking for. Oh, interesting. Oh, okay. So it was initially empty and then woo-wee. It added the rest of it. This one, as you can see, is a lot more complicated. Let me show y'all what this has. I can shoot. I can hold it. Okay. I actually have a score that increases. And when I die... Ooh. What happens when I die? Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, I'm gonna put this here. Oh wait, not there. Otherwise you can't see it. Okay, yeah, it establishes my high score and the score. There's a function to get the strength of that input, so you can have finer control with joysticks and stuff. It's just pause at the breakpoint. Ah, okay. Yeah, that's another thing I need to understand is the freaking breakpoint. I'm like, what's that? When I first heard about it from chat, I was like, huh? What? What's that? So that's something I definitely need to learn. But what did I learn from Space Invaders here? I'm literally just writing it in my journal. So, what did I learn from Space Invaders? Well, clearly a lot more, but this has how to attack. Because this game allows you to attack enemies. It's not just deflecting the ball. And I'm able to determine how many points you get for killing an enemy. and get to determine what happens when the player is killed in said game. Breakpoints and debugging are the hardest things for me to explain to someone who's not already familiar. Ah, okay, that's all good. All good there. I appreciate the efforts though. Cause yeah, quite the little beginner for certain, Just to be like that. Let me see here. So when the player is killed, you get the score. Oh, basically you can set up a breakpoint if you want to check things at a certain point in code execution. So where did I establish a breakpoint? Is it this queue free? Is that the breakpoint? Because I feel like when it's queue free, it just ends there. Also, I might be a little bit less coherent because I'm still on the EB side. No, queue free has not. Oh, queue free has nothing to do with that. Interesting. Okay. It's the red dot that shows up if you click to the left of the number. Oh, this one, right? Oh, okay. And this breakpoint. Set up a breakpoint if you want to check things at a certain point. Okay, so if I don't want to establish this and I just want to focus on like, oh, does it work here? I just tap that. Yeah, I just tap that. And then it would just establish this. Okay, that can make sense, yeah. Makes sense. Because, like, if you try to just test everything all at once, you can't really pinpoint when there's an issue. So, with this breakpoint, you can, like, backtrack on, like, okay, what happens if I remove this last bit? Does the code still work? What if it still doesn't work and stuff? Basically, when the code is running and it reaches a breakpoint, it will pause execution and you can see the values of the variables and stuff at that point in time. Oh. Okay. My brain feels this silly. Let's see, variable speed. Also, I don't really understand the export part of it. Like, where does that come from? Is it coming from here? Where's the game speed? Interesting. Okay, this one makes sense. The HUD though. The HUD is very interesting to me. It's the thing that good coders, i.e. not me, do instead of print debugging. Oh. Okay. But in my defense, a lot of the coding I do doesn't lend itself to the use of a debugging console, as far as I know. Oh, okay. Okay, it do be like that then. It do be like that. Yeah, so within Space Invaders, I can learn to attack, and to attack is with the physics process. So calculating that. And it determine like what happens when it hits an enemy. Okay. Player, we already did that for player, although this is kind of complicated. It has a die function too. So like what happens if I get hit? Also, I guess another way to like improve this is like what if you add like lives? Like if you died once and you still have 2 lives, that's not a full game over. And stuff like that, so okay. Like the revival. Oh gosh. Like today at work, I literally had to print debug a GitHub action that takes 20 minutes to run just to see that I was accidentally adding a list as a value to another list instead of adding its elements to the— Oh! So you were making listception. Oh. Well, that is rough. Oh, man. It do be like that. here for our direction. Yeah, vector 2 is another one that I'm like, what? What's vector 2? And what kind of category is that? I mean, because similar to like variables and constants. Okay. Ooh, velocity is just direction and speed and move and slide. Okay. Nested lists have their place and indeed still do that in the code. But that was one nest too much. Yeah, that would be too much to handle. Especially when you don't know what that list is referring to. So, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Let's see here. What else? Oh, yes. Spawning enemies is another thing I learned. So, enemy spawn. I learned more about attack shooting. I learned like more movement. For sure. Oh, vector 2 is basically a 2-element array that only stores floats and is usually used for things like X and Y position. Oh, okay. So this one is a 2-element array. But it's also great to use for upper and lower bounds of ranges so you don't have to maintain 2 separate variables. Ooh. Okay. Alright. Question mark. We. Okay, got to shoot. We got the HUD. We got the game over. The game over makes sense. It makes sense to me. On restart button pressed, when you restart, you get the tree and you reload the current scene. This one though, I need to analyze this one. The enemy is not too bad. Like, it makes sense with all the random movement and such. Ooh. Okay. I think though that due to my energy levels, I may need to end the stream a little bit earlier, but I definitely feel like we've learned a lot in the past couple of streams, and the last thing I want to establish before I leave is to set up something on YouTube. So, let me go ahead and see this real quick. Because I definitely feel myself getting eepy. I'm feeling the eepies right now, and I'm like, oh boy, we gotta take care of that. So let's go ahead. And on YouTube, I am going to make a poll on what is the next game that we are going to make, because that would be really fun. So I had a pre-poll in my Discord, and if you're not part of my Discord, be sure to join, because I'm gonna have quite a few discussions on this. And let me go ahead and get the link for y'all, actually, so that you guys can see. Because I made a little forum for suggestions, and I got a few interesting suggestions out there. So let's go to... Where is it? First of all, if you are interested in, like, suggesting games for me to recreate or just hanging out, definitely join the Discord here. I've seen a few of you join. Thank you so much. But our options that were suggested according to the chat, well, some people suggested a dating sim, but I don't think I'm ready for that yet, so we did not. Praxis put in the 20 games challenge from GitLab.io, which is very fascinating, so thank you so much for that. So I'm thinking that our couple options, one of them is a bit more modern, which is Flappy Bird. I remember when Flappy Bird first came out, it was such a phenomenon. It's really wild. So I'm gonna add that one. Another one. Oh, Minesweeper, yes. Minesweeper was another one. That one's a fun one. Bird. I'm just gonna write the names down in the chat system and then go from there. People want a dating sim. I'm obstructing that because I feel like for a dating sim, that needs to be when I'm more comfortable coding. But one other thing for the challenge. What is Breakout? Oh, Breakout would be very fun to play, fun to remake because, well, Atari's first game was Pong, and then the successor to Pong was Breakout. So I'm like, okay, there's a little bit of a connection there. Yeah. Oh wow, I literally just skipped game 2 and went to game 3 for like Space Invaders. That's funny. That's really funny. Oh wait, River Raid? Ooh, okay, it'd be kind of fun to like remake a bunch of Atari games. If you know, you know. But I'm thinking that for the second game, let's see. Okay, let's do Breakout then. Hi Snake Valor, welcome on in. Ooh, I've actually been following a tutorial where you take a functional Breakout game and add a bunch of game juice to. Oh, okay. That sounds sick. Alright, so these 3 will be our options for like what is next for our tutorial, our Nethyr Learns Godot series. And yes, they had to specifically be for Godot. Alright? Let me go ahead and make a brief Twitch poll here. Because honestly, it's really fun to have a little Twitch poll. So I like doing that. And then, let me see here. Manage poll. New poll. Let me do this. Okay. What's the next classic game that Nethyr will make? We have a couple options. One of them is a little bit more recent than the others, but it's okay. So Flappy Bird is one of them. Minesweeper is another. You know, Solitaire would be interesting, but I don't think I'm capable of that just yet. So we're gonna keep it simple. Yeah, we're gonna have this go on for 10 minutes because I do need to make this poll on YouTube. Alright, the poll is now up on Twitch, but I will also make a poll here on the YouTubes. Okay. Hi Nethyzens. For the next Nethyr Learns Godot stream, I need your help choosing what game to recreate. Here are our options. So, which game should I recreate next? Vote below in the poll. Please, if you have suggestions, feel free to send it in the comments. Alright, let me get the text poll ready. So, option Flappy Bird. Our next option is Minesweeper. Next option is Breakout. Alright, and it is now posted. I will go ahead and share it with the chat. Oh, that's a delete button. There's a share button. Oh, that's not what I was looking for. Huh? Okay, so it appears in the YouTube section and the Twitch section, so feel free to look there. If you want to vote on YouTube, here is the link. Please go through there. And I'm going to review the poll in like a couple 10 minutes. We're just going to vibe. Because of course, I'm a little on the EP side of things. I mainly just wanted to hang out before I do a bunch of stuff. But also, like, for those who are new to this channel, thank you so much for your support. It really means a lot because for the longest time, I've been trying to figure out, like, what kind of content would I have fun making, but also, like, feel very satisfied doing. So, being able to, like, recreate games on Godot and, like, feel appreciated for that is very, very nice. I'm very happy. Like, my first video for Nethyzens Godot boomed so much, and it's still growing to this day. So I'm very fortunate, and I'm very happy that people are recognizing its value. And honestly, it's been making me think about, hey, my future streams, future content should always be revolved around tech. And not necessarily just focus on games, but just tech in general, because learning about it is fun, and sharing that knowledge is even more fun. So I want to keep that up. I want to keep the good things up. But yes, so considering the coding streams, it's making me think about the fact that, hey, maybe I shouldn't stream games anymore. Because it seems like people are specifically looking at my content because it talks about like a lot of coding and technical stuff. Although, to be honest, I don't think it's that technical when I'm still a beginner. So, you know, do be like that. And then we should try figuring out who we should raid. I kind of like to just keep to myself though sometimes, so that's it too. Also, a really cool note. So I am currently at 920 followers on Twitch, and on YouTube I'm currently at 347. So I'm super close to 500 subscribers on YouTube, and I'm super close to 1,000 followers on Twitch. And I can't thank you all enough on the love and support. It's really sweet, and I want to keep growing. So thank you for encouraging me to do more coding stuff. It's really helpful. So just thank you, and I'm gonna keep doing my best with coding. But in order for me to continue doing my best, I need to make sure y'all vote, and I need to make sure that we're gonna recreate something that people would be kind of entertained by. And please make sure that it's not too frustrating. I will vet it before I actually take part in like learning to recreate it, so that's something to keep in mind as well. Okay, we're halfway there. Is there any suggestions on who we should raid though? I just want to double check. Anyone interesting? There's a couple of people that are interesting. I'm just kind of shy though. I don't see like any there's a lot of cool people. I'm just shy. I'm probably not gonna raid anyone, to be honest. I just want to keep to myself. Cause me shy. Let's go. Ooh, I want to see the results. Ooh, okay, I see results there. To be honest, the Twitch one just helps you like, okay, what are people mainly interested in seeing? And then, oh, what happened to the poll? Oh, the poll's still going. Okay, okay, cool. And then there is the, where is it? Where is it? Yes, the YouTube poll as well. It would take a little bit, but I'm gonna review the results by Sunday, and once we have our next game on Sunday, then I can start putting things together for Monday. But for next week, I will not be streaming on Friday next week because I have a meeting. Well, actually, do I have a meeting? Yeah, I'll probably have be hanging out with some friends and stuff. But other than that, I will definitely stream on... Will I stream September 2nd? Oh, I actually will not. I will not, actually. Oh, man. Because it's a vacation, so it'll take quite a bit. So I will be resuming my streams later in September. Probably around September 9th. Because there's some things I want to settle down with. And go from there for my coding. Go from there for my like streaming, because my goal for next week is really to just touch grass, take a bit of a break. Because it's been very busy as of late, so you know, it really do be like that. But so far in my journey, I'm really proud of myself for like recreating 2 classic games so far. That's pretty awesome. And I want to see how many classic games I recreate in Godot um in a year, and see how I grow from there. I really want to be able to like turn them into mini games for chat, but I don't know if I'm capable of that just yet. But I'm really excited for my coding journey so far and seeing how much I can grow. And just going over like games history by recreating classics, it's just like, wow, the people before me took so long to probably figure all of this out too. So I feel very like happy that I get to be part of that journey and like really see how things are made. It's really fun. It's kind of like solving a mystery that's like always been there for me, but I did not have the courage to solve. Okay, I see the poll is slowly ending for Twitch. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. Alright, I see one person voted. That's all good. It's all good. Flappy Bird seems to be the main interest, so I'll keep that in mind. And from there... Okay. Okay, yeah. I think that would be the main one. And then on YouTube, people will vote there. So with that, I think I'm just gonna just like chill for the rest of the evening. So thank you all so much. Oh, hi Tenguris, hello. I was about to like end stream because I've been feeling a little bit on the EP side, but hi Tenguris, how are you? I hope you've been doing well. I can hang out a little bit, but I've been feeling quite tired from my long week of work. And I can finally have a bit of rest just to myself. So yeah, I'm gonna wind down quite a bit for the rest of the evening and brainstorm a bit more on like the future of my content. I am doing alright, and I'm sorry to hear that you're feeling tired. Oh, it's all good. It's just kind of like part of working 40 hours a week, so I just do be like that. You could probably hear it in my voice too. But last minute things. I made a poll on like what is the next game that we are going to recreate, and I'm gonna resume streaming September 9th, so I'll be on vacation for like a whole week. Definitely join my Discord and the No Pointer Live Discord as well. Actually, do I? I should probably make a bot regarding the stuff. Let's see here. Yeah, I should probably... Where's server settings? Yeah, I need to get the link for like sharing a Null Pointer live server so that people can join. It's quite a lovely community, and I hang out there quite a bit. But yeah, it's nice to see you, Tenguris. Unfortunately, I'm gonna go ahead and head out. So with that, good night, Nethyzens. I'll see you around in a week, okay? Make sure to take care of yourselves and do your best. I know that people's school is starting, so make sure that you do the best you can, okay? But don't push yourself too much. Alright, good night. Bye-bye.